Hello, welcome. So, this week I would like to talk about the speed of life. So, I was thinking about this and I was thinking about a wise Western sage of the 80s who said, "Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it." So, this wisdom from the fictional Ferris Bueller has much to say about the reality of our modern life. Evolution and society have masterfully helped us to learn that survival means constantly being on the go. Evolution tells us to fight or take flight, while society tells us to get ahead, climb the ladder, move up the ranks, and chase the American dream. But what if we were really chasing our tail and fighting what might actually bring us a deeper sense of contentment? How often are we moving so fast to get to the next thing that we miss that next thing, even if that thing is something we normally would really enjoy? And how often are we moving so fast that we miss the beauty and joy in our lives? World-class violinist Josh Bell and journalist Gene Weingarten performed a social experiment several years ago in the Washington, D.C. subway system. Bell decided to play a busker for a day and set up shop in the subway terminal with his $3.5 million Stradivarius violin and played away for over an hour. In that time, over 1,000 people whizzed by, with very few stopping to actually stop and listen to this world-class performer. And he only ended up making about $50. Not that he needed it. This Pulitzer Prize winning story seems emblematic of a culture where most of us are often in such a rush that we miss many of the daily moments. Now, this constant leaning forward can be exhausting because it throws us off balance. However, just because we're moving forward doesn't mean we're making progress, at least not in the sense of our overall well-being. So at some point it seems important to ask ourselves, where are we really trying to get to? I'm always struck by the mantra of a woman who received a terminal cancer diagnosis. After learning she would soon die, she knew she needed to slow down and embrace each moment that remained in her life. So she started telling herself over and over, "There's no time to rush. There's no time to rush." But we don't have to be sick in order to embrace this type of attitude. We have been trained to rush, so just like anything else, we can unlearn these habits. Instead of letting the busyness of life dictate the pace of our lives, we can slow down and let a deeper sense of calm guide us through our days. I know it's not easy to stop and step out of this rushing tide that tends to sweep us through our days, make us feel like we're often on autopilot. But there are some habits we can incorporate to help us learn to interrupt our tendency to rush and be able to slow down and come back to the natural speed of life. One idea is to keep a tally of the times you remember to come back to the present moment. I wouldn't really make this about reaching a certain number of marks in a day, but more just about acknowledging when you remember to change your state to having more of a sense of presence in the moment, until hopefully this becomes more and more of a trait. Another technique is to set a timer to go off randomly or at certain intervals, and when it does, just slow down and take a few moments to breathe and be present. And of course, mindfulness practice can be an excellent moment of taking some time to slow down and be with what is present. This is really a training ground where we learn to let thoughts arise and fall away, returning to the breath or some other focus. So we're going to work with some ladder breathing, which is a practice that can help you to gradually slow down and notice the shift from feeling scattered and rushed to feeling more of a sense of presence and calm. So if you want to just find a nice, comfortable seat, find a nice balance between being upright but also relaxed. I would just invite you to close your eyes or drop your gaze forward. And just letting any natural tension relax as you start to settle in with your breath. So we're actually going to imagine a sense of rushing and breathing a little bit faster to start this practice. So I just want you to breathe the 2 count, just in 1, 2, out 1, 2. And just notice what this rushed breathing feels like. And you can even think of a time when you were rushed today or recently that matches this. Just quick breaths. 1, 2, 1, 2. Maybe you feel a slight sense of hyperventilation, your breath feels a little jagged. But just thinking about what it was like to be rushed. When we feel this way, our breath tends to be short and uneven. We may even hold our breath for periods of time. So I know this doesn't seem very meditative, but if we can become aware of this and note this, then we can start to slow down the breath. So start to do this and start to count to 4 with just a nice even breath. So in, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4. And just take a few breaths with this count. Just notice the difference this makes in your mind and body as you take these slightly deeper breaths. And then just extend the count to 6, just breathing in for 6. So in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just taking a few breaths with this count. Noticing how this feels compared to shorter breathing patterns. And this type of breathing is called coherent breathing. And this pattern can help us find a nice balance between being relaxed and alert. As you do this, if you're still feeling a little anxious, you might try a longer count on your exhale, so something like a 6 count in and an 8 count out, or a 4 count in and a 6 count out. So just follow whatever pattern works for you for a few breaths. And as you continue, you can keep counting, or you can just let this fall away and just fall into a natural rhythm of breathing. So at this point, you can pause the video and keep going for as long as you'd like. Or as you're ready, you can open your eyes if they've been closed. Come back to the space around you, stretching out a bit if you need to. So ultimately, you can take these suggestions I gave you, or you can be creative and find your own ways of slowing down and finding a different sense of flow to your life. So I'm very grateful that you were here and hope to have you join me and the dogs in the future. Sorry for the bark at the end. Have a wonderful day.